Here is a clear summary and explanation of the Starlight Private Global Real Assets Trust for the first quarter of 2025 results and major announcement drawn from the article, which is link will be given below. Overview. Starlight Capital, a Canadian asset manager, released the first quarter of 2025 financial results for its Starlight Private Global Real Assets Trust and announced proposed merger with three of its private investment pools. These developments aim to simplify their fund structure and expand the trust capabilities. Key financial highlights for first quarter of 2025. Total assets is $28.2 million in the first quarter of 2025, which was 29 million in the previous quarter, which is the fourth quarter of 2024. Current liabilities is 812,517, which was 823,755 in the last quarter. Net assets total, which is in the first quarter of 2025 around 24.7 million, and in the previous quarter it was 28.2 million. Investment gain or losses. There's a loss of $11,251, while there was a profit in the last quarter of $819,727. Net investment income in the first quarter of 2025 ranges around $161,490, which was previously $670,481. The trust recorded a loss in the first quarter of 2025 compared to significant gains from the same quarter last year. Total assets also decreased slightly. Portfolio details. Public portfolio value is of $259,000 and private portfolio value ranges around 25.3 million, which is down from 27.9 million. Public portfolio consists of 66 liquid global real investment and infrastructure investments. Distribution and redemptions. Distributions per unit in the first quarter. Series A 0.1523, Series F is 0.1546, and Series I is 0.1575. Redeemed units in the first quarter. 29,931 Series F units at $11.55 each, totaling around 299,396 total redeemed. Major proposed changes. Subject to July 10 vote. The transaction. Starlight proposed the merging of three private pools into the trust: Global Infrastructure Pool, Global Real Estate Pool, Global Private Equity Pool. Pre merger amendments. Expands investment scope. Allow investments in broader global equity. Create new Series A units with potential exchange listing. Issue more preferred units to boost liquidity. Limit redemptions temporarily until a special redemption event. Introduce special redemption allowing up to $60 million in cash payouts. Voting threshold 66.7% approved, needed for amendments. Simple majority for the merger. Meeting scheduled for July 10, 2025. Virtual only. Expect circular with details. June 6, 2025. Meeting date July 10, 2025. Implementation if approved around 30th September 2025. Why it matters for investors. Starlight believes the merger and amendments will increase fund size, diversification, reduce cost and fees, boost liquidity and access to capital, create new growth opportunities, and there's also a cautionary note. This the release includes forward-looking statements subject to risk and uncertainties. Actual results may differ due to market conditions and regulatory changes. In a rapidly evolving investment landscape, stability, transparency, and long-term vision are what we define trust in asset management. But that's exactly what Starlight Capital aims to deliver with its latest quarterly update and major strategic announcements that could reshape its private investments offerings. In this comprehensive background, we dive deep into Starlight Private Global Real Assets Trust in the first quarter of 2025 financial results and explain what their proposed merger and amendments could mean for everyone. Published on May 15, 2025, the quarterly update brings both challenges and opportunities. Let's begin with the most pressing, the financial numbers for the first quarter ending March 31st, 2025. At the top level, the trust reported total current asset of 28.22 million, slightly down from 29.04 million at the end of fourth quarter of 2024. Current liabilities stood at just $812,000, virtually unchanged, but the big shift came in performance. So, what caused this dip? While market conditions globally remain uncertain, the primary driver appears to be modest underperformance from select holdings, both private and public portfolios. Section 2, Portfolio Breakdown. Let's take a closer look at the portfolio itself, divided into two primary components, public and private holdings. As of March 31st, the public portfolio, which includes investments in the real global real estate and infrastructure securities, has 66 investments with a market value of $233,884. Meanwhile, the private portfolio contained four investments valued at 25.3 million, which is down from the previous year, which was 27.9 million. Combined, the entire portfolio remains diverse, globally positioned, and importantly, liquid. Starlight Capital has assured investors that they don't anticipate any issues meeting liquidity needs for redemptions or obligations. Income distribution continues to be a core objective for the trust. The first quarter of 2025, unit holder received the following distributions. Select A units, which would be of 0.1523, Series F units, which would be of 0.1546, Series I units, which would be around 0.1575. Additionally, under the quarterly redemption plan, 25,931 Series F units were redeemed at a net value of $11.55 each, totaling around 299,000 returned to investors. Now let's turn to what might be the most important development yet, a sweeping structural change proposed by Starlight Capital. The trust has announced a special meeting scheduled for June 10, 2025, with unit holders will vote on three key mergers and a package of pre-merger amendments. If approved, these private pools will be absorbed into Starlight Private Global Real Assets Trust, creating a much larger and unified vehicle. And what you may ask, what's being merged? Starlight Private Global Infrastructure Pool, Starlight Private Global Real Estate Pool, Starlight Global Private Equity Pool. Before these mergers to take place, Starlight wants to implement several critical amendments onto the trust structure, expand investment strategy, create new A series units, authorize more preferred units, adjust quarterly redemptions, introduce a special redemption rights. On May 25, on May 29, 2025, record date for voting eligibility. June 6th, management circular mail to investors. July 10th, special meeting, virtual only. September 30, 2025, expected transaction implements. To pass, the pre-merger amendments need at least 6.7% approval, while the merger themselves require a simple majority vote. To ensure fairness and oversight, CIBC World Markets Incorporation has acted as financial advisor to the independent trustees overseeing these transactions. In addition, Glenn Hirsch, an officer affiliated with Starlight Capital, abstained from voting to avoid any conflict of interest and maintaining strong government standards. As always, forward-looking statements involve risk. While the management believes these changes will benefit the unit holders through diversification, lower costs, and greater growth potential, markets are unpredictable, as you all know. Investors are advised to read the full management circular, assessing their risk appetite, and consult financial advisors when necessary. Before we close, there's a quick refresher on who's behind the trust. Starlight Capital, a Canadian asset manager with a $1 billion of assets under its management, focusing on real estates, which including global real estate, infrastructure, and private equity. Starlight Investments managing $30 billion in assets, including 70,000 residential suites, 7 million plus square feet of commercial property, 375 employees across North America. The quarter one results reflect a moment of transition, one marked by short term challenges and long term ambition. With the proposed merger, Starlight is clearly positioning itself and its trust for scale, agility, and a more competitive investment profile in the global real estate space. Investors should mark their calendars for July 10th and stay informed as this transaction unfold. If successful, it could redefine Starlight's role in private real estate market. Thank you very much. And thanks for watching. Until next time, stay informed, stay invested.